I started in a subway station, clutching a battered briefcase, feeling like I was invisible to the world, just another face in the crowd, drowning in the noise and grime. But I knew then that I was destined for more, that the dirt and despair were only the beginning of my story. Now, at 35, I sit in the corner office of a towering bank in the heart of New York City. My name on the door, my power undeniable. Yet I carry a secret that keeps me awake at night, a secret wealth, a carefully guarded arsenal of investments and strategies that no one knows about, not even the colleagues I work alongside every day. It all started years ago when I was just a teller, the girl who processed transactions, smiled politely, and dreamed of a life beyond the counter. I remember the day I realized the game was rigged against us. When I watched my supervisor manipulate figures to cover up a scandal, and I felt the fire ignite inside me. I vowed then that I would never be a pawn, never again at the mercy of men who saw women as nothing more than assets to be controlled. I worked tirelessly, quietly building my knowledge, saving every penny, planning my escape from the shadows of my humble beginnings. Over the years, I learned to read people, to anticipate their moves, to turn their greed against them. I invested in secret, buying shares, establishing accounts in offshore banks, all under the radar. While everyone else was busy climbing the corporate ladder, I was stacking my chips, silently, methodically. I remember the day I finally bought the branch I used to work at, when I walked in with a confidence that had grown from years of silent preparation, and I made an offer they couldn't refuse. My own price, my own terms. They thought I was just a former teller, a girl from the streets. But I was already planning my final move. I knew that true power comes not from wealth alone, but from control. From the ability to manipulate the game without anyone suspecting. When I took over that branch, I felt a rush like no other, a feeling that I had finally turned the tables, that I had claimed what was always mine. But behind this success lies a heavier story. My family, my past, my love life, all intertwined in a web of betrayal, deception, and revenge. My parents disowned me for chasing ambition, for choosing a different path than the one they envisioned for me, a path of quiet sacrifice, of working hard without ever revealing the depth of my plans. They called me selfish, ungrateful, but I knew that to forge my destiny, I had to leave behind their narrow expectations. Now, years later, they come crawling back, begging for my advice, asking how I built my empire, how I navigated the treacherous waters of finance and power. I listen quietly, knowing that their regret is as bitter as their pride, and I keep my secrets close. My personal life has been no less complicated. I loved a man once, someone I thought I could trust, someone who promised forever, who proposed on a rooftop under the stars, his voice trembling with hope. I said yes, of course, full of dreams and promises of a future together. But that future was a lie. He called off the wedding just weeks before the date, citing reasons that sounded hollow, vague. I later found out he had been unfaithful, had played me for a fool, and worse, he had been secretly collaborating with my enemies, trying to undermine me from within. That betrayal cut deeper than any financial loss, because I had believed in love, in loyalty, in the fairy tale I had always dreamed of. But I learned that even love can be weaponized, turned into a tool for betrayal. I was furious, but I channeled that rage into my work, into my strategy. I turned the pain into power. I vowed that no one would ever hurt me again, not in love, not in business. I meticulously planned my revenge, waiting for the perfect moment to strike back at those who underestimated me, who thought I was just a pretty face or a naive girl. And when the time came, I acted swiftly and decisively. I exposed the lies, the manipulations, the betrayals, silencing my enemies with their own secrets. I made them beg for forgiveness while I sat on my throne of wealth and control. If you love Helena's journey, like and subscribe to join her next chapter. Because this is only the beginning. Her story of victory, vengeance, and reclaiming her destiny is far from over. Trust me, in this game, the one who plays fair never wins. The real power lies in knowing when to strike, when to hide, and when to let the world see your true strength. So stay tuned. Because Helena Montez is just getting started, and her next move will leave everyone breathless.